The voice of the drum calls. It sings a song of those who came before us and those to come. A song of survival and strength. A song of participation and voice. A song that calls us together. When we come together and participate in the 2010 census, we use this tool as the voice of all our Native people. Our voice. It is in our hands. 2010 Census.
Welcome to this edition of the Native News Update on this Wednesday, April 7th. I'm your host for today's program, Paul Demain. Many of the stories viewed here can also be found at our website at IndianCountryNews.com, and here are the news stories for the day from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. Memorial services for former Cherokee Nation Principal Chief Wilma Mankiller will be held at the Cherokee Nation Cultural Grounds at 11 a.m. Saturday, April 10th in Tahlequah, Oklahoma. Please allow for heavy traffic when planning your arrival. The media are encouraged to check in and receive their credentials before 10 a.m. After 10:30 a.m., they're expecting that vehicular traffic and access to the grounds may be limited. Speakers at the memorial service will include Charlie Soap, Chief Mankiller's husband, Chad Smith, Principal Chief of the Cherokee Nation, the Honorable Chief Judge Robert Henry, Ross O. Swimmer, former Principal Chief, John A. Ketcher, the former Deputy Principal Chief, Gloria Steinman, an activist and friend, Bob Friedman and Christina Keel, who are friends, and Felicia Olea and Gina Olea, Chief Mankiller's daughters. Jay Hanna of the Cherokee Nation as well. The Cherokee Nation asks that everyone please respect the privacy of the family and attendees during this service. Donations in her name can be made to wilmamankiller.com as well as onefiredevelopment.org. And there's information from two people, Mike Miller at 918-453-7476 or Amanda Clinton at 497-6336. President Obama issued this statement yesterday recognizing the passing of Wilma Mankiller. I'm deeply saddened to hear of the passing of Wilma Mankiller. As the Cherokee Nation's first female chief, she transformed the nation-to-nation relationship between the Cherokee Nation and the federal government and served as an inspiration to women in Indian country and across America. A recipient of the Presidential Medal of Freedom, she was recognized for her vision and commitment to a brighter future for all Americans. Her legacy will continue to encourage and motivate all who carry on her work. Michelle and I offer our condolences to Wilma's family, especially her husband Charlie and two daughters, Gina and Felicia, as well as the Cherokee Nation and all those who knew her and were touched by her good work. Some toiled in uranium mines, transported the extracted ore and carried it home in their clothes. Others participated in nuclear weapons testing or lived downwind from the test sites. Not all have been compensated, let alone know about the federal program that does so. Larry Martinez knows of thousands of them who lived on the Navajo Nation, and this summer he hopes to get some help finding more in the towns that dot the 27,000 square mile reservation. A new U.S. Department of Justice program will select 30 students to travel the vast reservation and other communities in the Four Corners region to identify potential participants in the federal compensation program. Congress in 1990 authorized compensation for people who worked in or were affected by uranium mining or nuclear weapons testing between 1942 and 1971 and contracted cancer or other diseases from radon exposure. From April 1992 through March 2010, the government has paid out nearly $1.5 billion to some 22,350 claims. Almost 9,000 other claims have been denied, primarily because the claimant did not have a covered illness, according to the Department of Justice. Martinez has a list of some 6,000 people who started the RECA process, but estimates that up to 2,000 more are eligible. Many people hesitate to file because they're ashamed of their illness or believe it's a death sentence or cannot prove work history, establish residency, or obtain medical records, he said. Officials with the Cheyenne River Reservation have been presented with a $4,000 check and donations to be used toward recovering from their crippling winter storm. So far, the South Dakota Community Foundation has collected $270,000 in donations for the relief fund set up for the reservation. The Bush and Northwest Area Foundation have also given some matching money. A portion of the donations were handed over to the reservation last week. The money is intended to help the tribe recover from an ice storm and blizzard in late January that paralyzed the reservation, knocking out power and water to thousands of people. Foundation President Bob Sutton says a large portion of the relief fund will also go to be used to equip emergency shelters in the region. Gasoline sales are so good at the Gliding Eagle Shell station between Kingston and Hensville in Washington state, it plans to increase capacity from 8 to 12 pumps. The station is operated by the Port Gamble Escalelum tribe and sells gas for 10 to 15 cents per gallon less than some of the nearby stations. The Catsup Sun reports the station is the tribe's second largest business behind the Point Casino there. The past chairman of the Standing Rock Sioux tribe will speak this week at South Dakota State University. Ron His Horse Is Thunder will give the keynote address at the Upper Midwest Honors Conference at 7 p.m. on Thursday, April 8th in the Volsdorf Ballroom at the Union. His Horse Is Thunder, tribal chairman from 2005 to 2009, is also the former president of the Sitting Bull College. The theme of the conference is Matakyo Asin, a Lakota term for all my relatives. The conference will include student and faculty presentations, research, posters, and a variety show. Anishinaabe Nation Grand Consul Chief Patrick Madubby says the government hasn't done enough for the First Nation communities affected by mercury poisoning from the English Wabigon River system in Canada. The communities of Grassy Narrows and Wabaseemoong have gone far too long without having their health concerns addressed, said the Grand Consul Chief during a peaceful protest today at Queen's Park. Would members of the Ontario Legislature or the House of Commons tolerate a situation where their family's primary source of water and food was contaminated by a lethal poison? I doubt it very much, he said. The Chiefs in Ontario office also released a water declaration titled Water Declaration of the Anishinaabe, Mushkegowuk, and the Unkwohonwe in 2008. The water declaration speaks to the relationship of First Nations people to the waters, the condition of the waters, water rights and treaties, and self-determination. And that is the latest roundup of news from Indian Country. On this edition of the Native News Update, we want to thank you all for stopping by. Stop by again soon. Miigwech. Do that.
Yeah, take one.
All right, take one.